Only you can prevent Armageddon.
Is it just this, or just us?
Fear! The final frontier. Happiness is a warm
Yeah, woo!
Taxation without representation.
So what is really real?
Or is it ours?
Woo, woo! You ever wonder what's really going on?
Conspiracy.
Random topic.
Well, today we're going to talk about it. I just wanted to say that I am one of the hosts of the show. My name is Rob, and I am a cynical bastard.
I'm Rob, and I'm a cynical bastard.
Okay, well, to start off with, since I have it planned in my head, there's a little beef that I want to take up with somebody. For those of us that have asked in the past, I'm not showing any brand names here. I went out for a camping trip, and I got dehydrated food to try it out on a camping trip, and I opened up my dehydrated food in the woods.
Woods?
Yeah.
What particular woods?
Somewhere
around here?
Yeah, near here.
Near here.
But they don't know where we live, and it's probably a good idea.
Probably a good idea, yes.
And so, anyways, I opened up my meal.
They probably do. So
I opened up my meal, and I found a prize, kind of like Cracker Jacks. Except not, because on it, it says like 15,000 times, don't eat.
I wonder why.
Well, if it didn't say don't eat on it, would you eat this if you opened it up?
Not if I was an adult, but they should probably label, you know, instead of big letters, do not eat, they should just put poison.
Oh, okay, so I'm out on a camping trip, and I open my food, and the first thing I see is poison.
Exactly!
That'll work.
Exactly, but that would be true.
But I wouldn't buy it again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I guess that's the difference between, you know...
But this doesn't really make me want to buy
actual
it
healthy
If I'm not
food
supposed to eat this, then what's it doing in my food?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe people should start wondering where they're actually getting their food and what's actually...
That's going to have to be another show. I just had to say it, you know, because I know I'm not the only one in the world that has wondered why you have to tell me not to eat that. So, we're talking today about some maybe not so alarming news that I saw on YouTube. Apparently the aliens have been here, I guess. Woo! And there's apparently some kind of cover-up, I guess, to keep that from us, or maybe there is not a cover-up to keep it from us. It might be a disinformation act.
Yeah, could be.
To make our eyes look somewhere else besides where we should be looking. But it's what we're going to discuss today on our show. Is we're going to refer to a couple of YouTube videos, and down on the bottom here there'll be short links, hyperlinks to the videos, so you can watch them for your own reference. Right here,
just making sure.
just above the coffee on the table. And if you like our show, please subscribe. I believe that's right there. Now this is the first video, right? This is
the first one, yes.
The full, the disclosure project, the full version.
The full version.
2011.
Yes. And then of course then there's the one which is sort of a, I don't know, a rebuttal in a way to that one, which is the real truth about
aliens
UFOs,
and demons and the Illuminati and angels and
US
government and
stuff.
Conspiracy. We used to be really fun. It used to be really fun to while away for hours on conspiracy theories and
well, there's been many hours whiled away on it, and they're still doing it too.
You know what really sucks for me is coming into a point where I realize that a lot of these conspiracies have some truth to them. Well, I was watching the video. I watched it. Yes. I wasn't as bored as you. You know, I years ago I watched a lot of the videos about UFOs. I thought it was quite intriguing, having seen a UFO myself. I'll admit it. Especially now that
UFO.
Especially now that everybody's getting on the bandwagon, I don't feel so bad about it. But one of the things that really kind of pissed me off was this clip.
Discs at that exhibit. These discs were hovering off the floor without any visible means of support. A particular type of science involving something called zero-point energy and basis of the technology for these anti-gravity propulsion systems. This particular document here.
Okay, 0-point energy. Wow. So, I don't know, I pay and have paid a couple $100 a month for electric. And I know the rest of you do too. But this guy is saying that he saw ships that run on 0-point energy. 0-point energy is what? It's a term that came up from Stargate, which was a really good show, really good concept. So what does 0-point energy mean?
We used to call it, you know, a perpetual energy or a self-perpetuating device.
So, in other words, not a nuclear reactor, not a pile of coal.
Tesla had one, and he offered that instead of AC. And that device, he said that each house and every building would have its own source or power supply, which in itself was a perpetual supply of power. And the way in which he described it was taking the energy out of the static air and the ground of the earth. But simply.
Well, you know, it pisses me off because, you know, apparently there's somebody willing to stand up and say that they've gone into a big building and they've seen 3 vehicles floating, powered by 0-point energy. 0-point energy, from what I understand, is free. Yeah, it probably costs something to build the machine, but it's free.
Well, of course it's free. It's like it comes from all of the sun and the stars. It's reflected off the moon. The earth is giving it off. Every single living thing is carrying it and giving it off.
So that means that all these people, if you think about it, all these people are working to pay for electricity that if we have the technology, it would be free. So our government went out in the desert and got wrecked spaceships.
That's one
thing. And what? We stole the information out of the spaceship, and then we figured out
There's
how
certain
to make
aspects
it work.
of that theory which makes absolute sense to me, particularly in the technological part.
And if we figured out how to make it work, then that was the U.S. government doing it, probably. Then that means that the
don't
U.S.
forget the military, which is its own entity.
That means that the United States of America owns that,
don't
not
forget the duck.
not companies, but the U.S. owns that, and this means it's public domain.
Okay, I missed something there. How did this information become public domain again? I want to go through that again.
Okay, spaceship falls out of the sky.
Oh yes.
Right,
okay.
right.
Uh-huh.
Just saying, if it did happen, if a spaceship fell out of the sky, and government sent the government out there, military, and secured the technology, right? Because tax money pays for that part of the government. That means that anything that they find is public domain.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Right. Yes.
So if it's public domain, it
only if it's declassified
can't be sold to us.
Because if it's not, because actually that information was actually classified.
Well, I watched these videos, and you know, back in the day when we were talking about it. Which day was? Oh. Back in the day when we were talking about it, we were afraid to talk about it in the open coffee shop because people would label us as freaks right off the bat.
If they hadn't already anyway.
If they hadn't already anyways. Well, now there's government officials getting up and to join the band. But so if everybody's getting up to join the band, here we go, back to public domain. If our government's used to go and seize this technology, then it is public technology. Your argument was that if it's classified, that it's not public technology, that it's not public domain technology.
Well, public domain implies that some other domain besides the public exists. So if you don't recognize this other domain that exists besides the public, then then you can't understand the question.
Okay, so say this stuff is classified and top
Right.
secret, okay, and it's not
the-
public domain
Right.
technology,
Right.
and the public cannot use this
Right.
information
Right.
because it's not declassified.
Or it's not unlocked.
Now I'm going to go in a completely different direction.
Like Tesla. Good coffee.
We were having these radios a few years back, and they had tubes in them, and then one day we got this amazing new technology.
Solid state.
Solid state technology. We were watching shows on TV when we were a kid. Star Trek. And a few other space shows, which turned into Star Wars. And shows like Stargate.
Into Star Wars. But
And sometimes I wonder if
Sci-fi.
that this is not part of the whole Disinformation Act. But if you look into history, you
well, a
realize
lot of
if you-
sci-fi fans
if you-
would be like getting their guns. When
if you look into history, nothing has ever moved this fast before.
that seems to be a common agreement amongst most people who are aware and thinking.
So we have this secret non-public domain technology, things like zero-point energy,
Right.
And you can't release this
Teslas.
technology to the public, even though it's public domain because it's not declassified.
Not public
But
domain.
but it's already here. We're already using it every day. Touch screens,
Yes, but this is-
micro technology.
This is not free technology. This is technology that's totally been, engineered for certain specific purposes, and it's very limited too. The amount of what can be actually done with this technology.
Well, you're
is very
insinuating
limited.
on one respect that this technology is being leaked out in a controlled fashion.
Absolutely.
Why would somebody do that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to answer
I
that.
have a wallet. That has
Not
the
all-
answer to that.
I don't think it's all about money.
Not all. No, it's also about control. It's also about it's also about misdirection, distraction. I mean, if you spend your entire life spinning your wheels and accomplishing nothing but paying your rent, feeding yourself, paying your power bill, and getting your kids put through college so they can pay their rent, pay their power bill, and put their kids through college. I just ask you, where is it really going? And the question is, it isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I see a whole lot of people that in that whole system you just
Yes.
described that are kind of disabled. They don't have enough time to do anything. Zero-point energy, I just want to know if we have it and it's public domain, then how come we don't have it? How come we have radioactive? How come we have radioactive concrete slabs all over the landscape, which are susceptible to
The answer is power and control.
power and control?
And wealth is part of that, a major part of that.
Japan's little accident didn't seem like control to me.
That's a whole other factor, and yet there is control there. That tsunami was very controlled. Depends on which particular camp and philosophy you want to subscribe to is just exactly what or whom was controlling it. There are some who say that it was HAARP that was controlling it,
HAARP?
or something similar
What's HAARP?
to that.
Another conspiracy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeehaw!
And there are those who are actually of some persuasion that I agree with, owing to my own experience, that this is all part of a natural reaction from the living energies of the Earth itself against a travesty.
Oh, come on, man. The Earth isn't alive. I've been hearing that for years. I don't really buy it. I'm sorry. It's a rock with a bunch of moss growing on it, man. It doesn't hurt if you scratch the moss off the rock. The rock's still there. Okay. Let's see. Was there any topics you wanted to talk about on the second video?
Yeah, the second video, actually, I had a real issue with Led Zeppelin being satanic music and that guy playing them backwards, and him picking out these words, playing it backwards, and I'm going like,
that's like if I take the dirt and I put it in the form of a flower. You see how it looks like a flower? I'm telling you,
I
man.
did lots of research on
It's
that.
right in the dirt.
I sat here and I played this backwards for hours and hours and hours, and I finally found it, and here it is.
yeah, I had some issues with
That's
that
a
stuff.
lot of really hard thinking, and you really don't have to look that far. I mean,
So much disinformation about the so-called UFOs out there that it almost takes direct experience to really be able to sort out the information.
whenever you listen to a government official talk about UFOs, they will tell you straight out that they have no information
About
on UFOs,
UFOs.
or about UFOs.
That's right.
Maybe they're not lying.
Maybe.
Maybe they don't know anything about
Because they're
unidentified
unidentified.
flying objects.
Absolutely.
They know what they are. I think it's really puzzling that, you know, with all this new technology that we have, which is all around us, swirling all around us, we can get packages shipped almost anywhere in 24 hours. It's really kind of neat. I'm concerned about how much energy is spent doing it. I don't know if it's replaceable energy that we spend moving all these things all over the planet.
Well, a lot of it isn't.
But one thing that I notice is that we've had biodegradable packaging for a while now, available to
that's a
everybody. To everybody,
That's
and
a big one.
nobody likes styrofoam. Nobody likes to see it fly around. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere for years. Anybody that's kept a garden knows that, you know, it goes into the ground. You dig it up the next year, and there it
if
is.
you go to the deli and you ask them to give you a paper carton instead of a styrofoam carton, they look at you like you're from Mars or something.
Yeah, well, we're in an easy society right now, but I wanted to illustrate this point, so I did this little test.
Speaking of aliens.
And so here's the test. I took some of that biodegradable,
Yes.
made from cornstarch, and I soaked it in some water. And here in 10 minutes, it has pretty much dissolved in the water, and it apparently can be plant food.
That's a far cry over those other things.
Now, I also did a test. I put styrofoam in the water.
There they are. Those
Yeah,
are
I put
those
the
vicious things.
Blue, green styrofoam.
They have minds of their
peanuts.
own. They like stick. They go everywhere. And they don't
after
disappear.
10 minutes, they're still there in the water. And,
Of course, you know what to get rid of those now, don't you?
how do you get rid of them?
Mushrooms.
Oh yeah, there's the new fungus that
That's
eats
right.
plastic. Hey, what do
Yeah.
you think? I don't know. Is the planet alive? It came up with a fungus to eat plastic.
You said
Wow.
it wasn't, and you really pissed me off.
Well,
It's off to Earth,
some
yeah.
of us don't believe in all that crap about
Why
the
should anybody believe in
the
crap?
living planet. Well, because crap is what makes everything grow.
But you just said you didn't believe in it, and you just established the perfection of crap.
I
I
think
mean, you don't know your shit, buddy.
I think that mismanaged crap is the worst thing.
Oh God, yes, it stinks bad.
Managed crap. You know, if we want to go into that, crap is a necessity.
Yeah.
Unless everybody wants to stop eating, which might be a solution. We wouldn't be
Well,
tearing
actually,
up forests
I
and
think
plowing
that- I think
and.
this- we have this loop here. It's the Earth loop, you know, where you eat the food, you digest the food, you crap out the food. The crap goes into the ground, and it nourishes the seeds, which grows into the food that you eat, that you digest, and you crap, and you grow, and you eat, and you crap, and you digest. And we got this thing here, which is supplemented by the sun, which is constantly pouring energy into the plants that we eat.
Well, I just came up with my own conspiracy theory.
Uh-oh.
All of it. All of it, including that, what you just said, is all covered in this conspiracy theory. It ties back into these other videos we've been watching. Aliens from another planet, somewhere far off in a distant galaxy, are toilet paper tycoons.
Yes.
And in order to be toilet paper tycoons, you have to have multitudes of
Butts to
beings, using toilet paper.
wipe.
So in order
You
to
gotta
gain,
produce
so
lots of butts to wipe.
it's kind of, you have to grow it kind of a thing. You know, you have to grow a civilization of beings that are dependent on toilet paper. And then and then in turn you can get all these beings to produce all their own needs so that they may need your toilet paper. Okay? And you charge a premium on toilet paper, and here's the cool part. These people,
Sure.
these
Once you're
beings,
addicted to toilet paper, man, you can never go.
these beings will destroy everything so that they
That's
can
right.
have toilet paper forevermore. They will tear down all their forests. That's the magic of it.
Yes.
Okay, and I was thinking about.
So you're saying that the ancient ideas of the ancient astronauts and everything else, the aliens came here looking for gold, is really just misinformation, because what they're really looking for was to set up the toilet paper empire.
Right.
It sounds just as plausible as any other theory I've been listening to. And there you have it.
We're going to be approaching many different subjects. Maybe you guys could.
I'm not a hippie either.
Maybe you guys could make some comments, and if you wanted us to check something out in more depth and give a commentary about it.
I'm a Civil War vet.
So we'll make that a part of one of the shows in the future. Well, until next time, see ya. Like us. I really can't see that these critters that are flying around, whatever they are, would have much interest in us at all. Being that we're so dumb. Unless it's all just a research project for them to study how a species destroys themselves.